Boom.
The Raiders are a really interesting team. We don't love the ownership, but they have a new front office, a new coach from New England.
If Josh McDaniels don't turn the team around this year, it's to be fired.
Not a lot has gone right for the Raiders under this regime.
They're doing what they do best. They are trying to lose. They should probably find a new hobby because it is going to be a disaster.
Hey, y'all. To tell you guys that we had issues is just an understatement. I'm hoping that everything goes well. Look, if it starts having a bad connection, we're just probably going to end the live show early, and then we're going to bring you guys a show tomorrow evening. We're trying to get this out, and we're going to see how it goes. But, hey, while it's working, Raider Nation, we got a dub. We beat the Denver Donkeys. Look, it was an ugly win, but nevertheless, we got a win, and there's so much to talk about. So before I even get into it, man, I want to get into the chat before I welcome on Pharaoh. GA Patriot says, Daniel Kim is in the building. He says Raiders. Yaya's in the building. Raider Resistance says, my fault, y'all. Hey, we're tonight's blame is going to Digital Prez. All good. What happened? Does Ray have a new intro? Yeah, you guys got to see it's got a new intro. Let's see. Pharaoh letting everybody know. Salute Ray. Just win, baby. Ray Love. Raiders Resistance. Look, it's the intro. Bills have locker room trouble. Diggs is disgruntled. What's new with that? Hey, chat. I want to get the show on the road, man. So we're gonna get to everybody here in a minute. Without further ado, you guys, welcome my co-host Pharaoh.
Hey, we are back. We're finally back. We're finally back, man. We had some technical issues, man. We've been doing this like for more than a year, and we never had like issues like this before.
It was bad.
But we wanted to make it happen. We did not want to cancel the show. We appreciate everybody's patience. There's a lot to talk about. The Raiders. I need to get that sound back, man. I need to get that sound bite of Al Davis just saying the Raiders, man, because he said it in a way, man. But anyways,
the Raiders.
Hey, man. The Raiders won. The Raiders won first game of the season opener against like you said, the Denver Donkeys, the Denver Broncos, whatever you want to call them. They lost. It was an ugly win. But you know, hey, we'll take it. We'll take it, man. There's points because I did a live the game cast. I went live on my channel and I was watching the game. It was really spontaneous, to be honest with you. And I'm watching the game and I'm like, at points of the game, I'm like, man, this is the same old Raiders, man. Like, come on, like, are you guys really gonna lose to this team? And yada yada yada. I'm sure everybody was feeling the same way at some point, but they figured out a way to win the game. And that's all that matters.
No, they did. And look, that's a good segue. Let's just hop into it, you guys. Raiders versus Broncos review. Yeah, specifically, I think you're talking about the defense, especially in the first half. And I was feeling the exact same way. And to be honest with you, it wasn't until post game and, you know, all those feelings, you kind of let it die down. And I think we have to remember that Sean Payton took a year off of football.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't know what to expect. It's week 1. And the Raiders are putting out a base defense out there, just seeing what it is the Broncos are running. What I really liked was the second half adjustments, which has been a huge issue for this team. What did they do? They go to the locker room, they come back out, they hold Russell Wilson to 41 passing yards in the second half, which is incredible,
right?
And holds them to 3 points. So regardless of how we started, and look, let's be honest, when we go to play Buffalo, we've got to get off to a better start. And I think that we will. There's more on film. But I just think that first half was a feeling out process, getting an understanding of what Sean Payton's wanting to do. So it was really a reaction performance in the first half. So Overall, man, what did you think about the defense first half compared to second half?
Well, I mean, it was a tale of two halves. You kind of
Yep.
mentioned how Russell Wilson came out in the second half. He didn't have a lot of pass yards, but the first half he was really efficient. He was 17 for 19, had 125 yards, 2 touchdowns. It wasn't that the Raiders were giving up explosive plays. It just felt like the Denver Broncos had a game plan and they were sticking to it and they were kind of controlling the game. Like the time of possession, I can't remember from the top of my head. I believe, but the Broncos definitely had that advantage. They had the ball longer than the Raiders, and I felt like they were controlling the game. Um, th- the Raiders defense, they didn't get like if you look at the final numbers, it kind of look for the Raiders defense, it doesn't look too bad. I mean, they gave up what 260 yards, 261 yards, 260 yards around that. Less than 100 yards rushing, but the Broncos were efficient rushing the football. I felt like they were running the ball well and getting in it's a manageable down and distance, and that's what got their game plan effective. Like they were dinking and dunking. But the thing is, the Broncos were relying so much on that dinking and dunking that eventually, there's going to be drives where it stalls because not they don't have the players to like to constantly catch everything. I mean, if can you name like three Broncos receivers? I mean, other though that played last game, not a lot of people can from the top of their head. I mean, you had Cortland Sutton and you had a couple of the guys like it just
Denzel Mims.
yeah. And in the first half, Russell Wilson hit like 10 different receivers. It just felt like, oh, okay, Russell Wilson. It looks like it looks like Sean Payton revived his career. Like it looks like he's back to being Russell Wilson. But that being said, Max Crosby happened. He made some plays. You could see the impact. I think there was a moment in the game where he had a run stop, but then he was held, which backed him up, and then put him in like third and long, and obviously
Third and 34.
something, and then
Yeah.
obviously Max Crosby ended up getting a sack. But yeah, man, like watching the game, I was hard on the defense. But after I looking back at it, I think they at the end of the day they made enough plays to win the game, and that's pretty much all that matters. Offense, man, I like what I've seen from the offense. I feel like there's some things that they can work out, but I'm not worried about them at all. But we'll get into that in a little bit as far as the players stock up, stock down segment.
Yeah, because as long as this stream continues to go like it's going, we're gonna have some interesting footage for you guys, and we're
Yep.
gonna pull it up, and we're just gonna take a shot in the dark with it.
Mhm.
But no, man, the offense overall. Look, I think Jimmy G had a good debut. I'll say a good debut, not a great debut. What I was also nervous. Did you notice in the first drive he got that ankle that he hurt? Did you see him get rolled up on?
You talking about Jimmy G?
Yeah. Did you see him get his ankle rolled up on?
I didn't see that. I seen like when he went down, I felt like the Bronco player didn't really hit him with his helmet, but he hit his knee, hit his
So that
his
was a separate one. So he did that and got the penalty,
mhm.
but there was one where he's standing in the pocket and delivered a ball, and one of the defensive linemen rolled, and it rolled right into that foot, and he just like let out this loud scream, and I was like, "Oh no!" Like,
Uh,
but obviously his mobility was there the rest of the game. Like he was fine, but hey, it was bad. Like it made me hold my breath, bro. Like it was
yeah.
bad.
You talking about that first run, right? That first run in
No, he didn't. He
17.
didn't run. He was inside the pocket.
Oh, okay.
And somebody, they just fell and rolled up on his ankle. Yeah, dude, it was
Right.
bad. If I can, I'll post it to my Instagram, here within the next day or so. But, yeah, man, hey, look, offense overall, I thought say what you want about Josh McDaniels, I think the dude can call a game. I really do. I think Denver Broncos defense, you know what I mean? I don't ever like to give them flowers, but they're a tough defense. They're physical. They've
Yes.
got a good linebacker core. They've got Patrick Surtain. They've got a Justin Simmons. You know what I mean? They've got pieces there defensively. Say what you want about the offense. The defense is pretty well established there. And I thought that the Raiders did a good job with having a new signal caller, having a new wide receiver in Jacoby Myers, having a new tight end. Like there's a lot of new pieces on the Raiders offense, skill position wise, and to go out there and kind of move the ball the way that they did, Overall, man, I think you got to be happy. We'll get into some of the things that Jimmy Garoppolo missed because I think this could have been a complete blowout. Like literally, Jimmy Garoppolo could have had 5 touchdowns.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
No,
and easy.
yeah, no, I hear what you're saying too. And just going back to us saying how ugly this game was, I mean, the Raiders had committed 10 penalties for 97 yards, and the Broncos, they had their fair share of penalties. I believe they had 10 penalties as well. But just to put the penalties in perspective, all 6 penalties committed on defense and special teams resulted in first downs. And I'm sure me saying that, you automatically think about one of the biggest ones that happened on Sunday, that roughing the kicker.
That's so
That
stupid.
Luke Masterson, oh my God, like after Jerry Tillery sacked Russell Wilson, we're getting the ball back, and it's just inexcusable. Stuff like that happened.
That made me feel like the team last year in that moment.
Yeah,
I was like, here we go. You know what I mean? Like you literally just gave them a turnover.
yeah, yeah. And then going to the offense, 3 of the 4 penalties that they committed happened in the red zone. So you see the sloppiness of the game, and if you're getting penalties in the red zone, it just makes it that much harder to score. And Ray just got done talking about how good this defense is, so you're just helping out that defense when you're getting penalized like that. But
And not to mention the turnover too. When we hit Russell Wilson, there was a fumble. Divine Diablo recovered it. What was the flag? Marcus Peters down the field.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, and that was on 3rd down as well. So
yeah,
got to get that cleaned up.
I forgot to mention this too. If you want to take a look at like the snap count of players, I thought it was kind of interesting because there's certain players that we're going to be looking at. Let me see if I have that up right here.
While you're doing that, I'll read this comment out. Sean Johnson says, we did something that we haven't done since 2000, and that was protect a 1-point lead with 5 minutes and 8 seconds left in the 4th quarter to ice the game. Now, look, it was impressive. You know what I mean? The way that Jimmy Garoppolo maintained this offense, the way that he was poised. This is what I feel like McDaniels wanted. He wanted a guy who's going to put the ball where Josh McDaniels wants the ball to go. And
Yeah.
that's what this game felt like. So, hey man, if this is the right fit, do you get a little bit of a Rich Gannon vibe from Jimmy G?
Oh, hey. All right. So I'll because I was gonna wait to talk about Jimmy G.
Okay.
But I wanted to talk about the overall offense. But yeah, I'm gonna talk about Jimmy G in a second. But the offense, I feel like they didn't play their best game, and they literally were throwing it to like what you had. If I can go to this, I could pull up the stat sheet real quick. They threw it to Devontae Adams, obviously, Jacoby Myers, and we'll talk about him in a second. Let me see.
And if you guys can, man, make sure you guys run up those likes. Everybody that's in the building, man, if you guys can, just smash that like button. It lets everybody know where you're at tonight. For the algorithm, FTA, drop that in the comments, man. For the algorithm, it's a very real thing. If you guys can, man, make sure you guys share this. Let people know where you're at. It puts more people in the chat, more people viewing the show. It helps us and it helps you. So we appreciate it very much, guys.
Yeah. So I don't know why the snap count is not loading up, but that being said, I'll just put up the game stats here so we can take a look at it real quick. And we'll get into it. Let's see. Thought I had it up right here.
OG Raider says facts. Sean Yaya says, yeah, that was bad. Clearly hurt. Yeah, that rolled up on the ankle, dude. That was actually terrifying. GA says, Ray, the Raiders got better doctors than the 49ers. They got Jimmy put back together right. Hey, let's hope that they got magicians back there to have him healthy for 17 weeks.
Right. So my point is if you look at the offense, and I just shared it right now, you look at who they targeted. You know what I mean? Jacoby Myers, Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs. It wasn't really a lot of players that were getting targeted. So, and this is an offense where pick your poison. There's so many players that can contribute. So that's why, like, I'm not worried about the offense. What I'm really worried about is defense. That's what we really we wanted to talk about today. Is just we want to talk about the defense because we're going to be playing better offenses.
Well, I want to stick to the offense real quick because I think there's been a lot of just overblown. Specifically to do with Hunter Renfrow, and we're going to get to him later in the film. But every time that we end up, when you play the Denver Broncos, specifically in recent history, man, this is a physical, I formation, power football, drop back, 3-step drops, get the ball out quick.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't a spread out type of offense. So when Josh McDaniels says that Hunter Renfrow, like the ball was just designed to go in other places, I
Right.
really do believe that. These were a lot of jumbo packages. You had Jacoby Myers, who's a good run blocker for a wide receiver, which you guys have to remember. I want you guys to remember Matt Collins' role last year and why Matt Collins had so much success in this Raiders offense was his ability to seal the edge. He lines up in the slot, seals the edge, and creates space out on the outside lanes, the running lanes, and it really helps this run game. So yeah, Jacoby Myers, everybody's like, oh, Christian Wilkerson got more reps because Christian Wilkerson is a big body receiver who has
Yep.
the ability to run block. So this was a scheme specific game, which is why I think also Trey Tucker was inactive.
Mhm.
This was a very big body, big personnel type of game. Get the running back running downhill, get the rust shaken off of Josh Jacobs, get Jimmy Garoppolo, dialing up short to intermediate throws, clean with the football, efficient in the red zone. I think that was the game plan. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
And Josh looked kind of rusty. He didn't look like
no, he did for sure.
yeah, I think it's probably gonna take him a few games because he didn't look as explosive. Like, and when I say explosive, I'm not talking about 50-yard touchdown type of explosive. I'm talking about that burst. Or he wasn't as decisive. Maybe he still had that burst, but maybe he wasn't as decisive. He missed most of the off season or all of the off season, including training camp. So I think it's probably gonna take him a couple of games to get it going.
Yeah, T Severe. This is what I was gonna say too. Look, there's 12 possessions total in that game, and last year each team averaged like 11 possessions per game. So look, the fact of the matter is that this game was just weird. I think there was a time where Denver had the ball for it felt like forever, which helped their time of possession numbers, which is why that looks so inflated. But they held on to the ball forever. Same with the Raiders, especially with that 5 minutes left on the clock at the end of the game. So this was really a ball security type of game,
Mhm.
ball control. Both teams wanted to get the run game going. So look, this isn't like just because the final score was 17-16. We're gonna get into some film later, which could have inflated the score drastically. Like the Raiders could have had, 30, almost 40 points if everything would have went right. So I'm not worried about this offense at all, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm not worried at all because even if you look at like Jimmy G was pretty much efficient for most of the game. We'll get into him a little bit later, but yeah, the offense looks solid. I think the run game is going to get better. I think players that are going to get more involved. You know what I mean? I think you made a good point that you said that this was a scheme-based game where
Mhm.
they wanted to get bigger bodies. That's actually a good point because hey, one of the biggest keys that I said before the game was you need to run the ball with Josh Jacobs, and I like that they stuck with him. Even though, look, if you look at his numbers, 19 carries for 48 yards. That's pretty much nothing. But the Broncos came in there with a mission, and they, by any means necessary, they're not going to let Josh Jacobs do anything. But guess what? That opened up some throwing lanes, some passing lanes for a guy like Jimmy G, for guys like Jacoby Myers, for, guys like Devontae Adams, like you see on the screen. And hey, we figured it out. They got the job done. I'm kind of like I said, my concerns and my questions, because I'm not like 100% sure to like what to make of the Raiders defense, because I'm looking at the Broncos offense and I'm like, we're gonna be playing way better offenses this year. And I just I'm kind of like, all right, what is this gonna look like? You know what I mean? Like the pass rush was inconsistent. At the end of the day, like we couldn't, we got to the quarterback. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Hold on, I think my camera just went out.
You're good.
But, but yeah, nah, you can go ahead and take over real quick. Hold on a second.
No, yeah, I just look, I think defensively, I think the perspective should be really based off of the second half. Because I was making a point earlier in the live stream was that look, we don't understand what Sean Payton's going to be running. He's been out of coaching for a year. What is this offense going to look like? So instead of the Raiders going out there and showing their entire hand, I think that they wanted to get a grasp of what Sean was going to do. play a lot of bland defense, and then the second half make those adjustments, come with more blitzes, come with they played a lot of good cover 2. They kept everything in front of them, forced Russell Wilson to check the football down, and then they came up and made a lot of clean tackles. So like plays come into mind like Trayvon Merrick, that third down where they dump it off to the tight end, and it's him and Trayvon Merrick for the first down, and Trayvon comes up and he makes the tackle. Huge play in the game. Divine Diablo, and I'm kind of getting into my players here that I want to talk about later. But overall, man, I think the second half defense is where we really need to focus on. And I think in the second half, outside of a few missed tackles here and there, I think that they played really well.
Oh yeah, no. I think Patrick Graham was talking about how some of the he said I think someone was asking him about what was his perspective about like week 1, and he was talking about how it's really about fundamentals and things I think the Raiders tackling wise, I thought it wasn't too bad. I thought
Jacorian Bennett looked okay, like an open space.
Man, I think there was a moment in that game. It was third and 1, and it was 1-on-1 with Javonte Williams. He broke it to the outside. It was like a 3rd and 1 play. The run was supposed to go inside, and he bounced it to the outside. It was 1-on-1 with Jacorian Bennett, and he had a couple of those that game where it felt like he made, like you just said right now, he made some good open space tackles. Nate Hobbs, another guy, man,
looked like a dog in the slot.
Back at home in the slot, man. He was making tackles back there. So, yeah, man, there were some things that I like, and there's some things where I have questions. I think most of the questions I think we probably can say are probably in the D-line or something. We'll get into that. But
yeah, and before we do, I'll just say this. The Raiders need to do something with the defensive line. Like, one, either a player drastically has to emerge. And look, I don't know if that was also a part of playing contain on Russell Wilson, wanting to keep him inside the pocket. Look, if that's the defensive line that we're going to be getting for 17 games this year, like the Raiders are going to be in big trouble.
And in the impact of the D-line wasn't just the pass rush, it was stopping the run too.
Yeah.
And they had trouble stopping the run. Like there were holes that Javonte Williams and the Samaje Perine was running through. Like they ran the ball efficiently. They didn't run all over us. Thankfully that didn't happen, and we were able to squeeze out that win. But we're gonna be playing teams that are gonna be better than the Broncos offensively. And
But I will say this: their offensive line, they invested a lot of money in their offensive line. Like their offensive line isn't bad, trust me. Like
no, it's not bad, but like that's the thing. I don't know what to make of. Was it two bad teams playing each other, or was it, what do we know about this defense? We still haven't figured it out yet.
We don't know. We're not going to know for a little while here. But I'll say this: they're not a top, at least right now, they're not a top 12 unit in my opinion. Like
we'll find out next week. We'll find out next week.
And look, and I talked to Farrell about this. If the Raiders go out here and beat the Bills, I will go buy one of those terrible, god-awful Josh McDaniels sun visors that he wears, and I will grow my mustache out like Aiden O'Connell. Raider Nation, you have my promise.
Hey, you heard it here first. Everybody in the chat, man, look, I'm going to bring this up, and I want y'all to like back me up when I bring this up, because Ray going to have to stand by what he just said, because I hope the Raiders win next week.
Hold on. With the mustache, am I allowed to make it thin, or does it have to be like caterpillar?
No, it has to be old school 1970s thick.
Oh my gosh, bro. I want this team to win, but I don't know. I don't know if I want to rock a mustache.
I'm telling you, you said it on the live, man. You got to stick to it, man. You got to stick to it.
All right. But yeah, man. All in all, you guys, Raiders Broncos review. Defense has a lot to prove yet. Offensively, man, I think we flash in some areas. And I think that there's going to be a lot of room for improvement, which leaves me excited, because we're going to hop into some film here in a second. And I think it's going to leave you a lot of encouragement of if Jimmy Garoppolo can develop in this offense and get more comfortable with these guys, where they're going to be, how they play, their timing. The Raiders offense is going to be able to put up some significant amount of points, and I'm curious to see if they can make those adjustments heading into Buffalo, because I think we're going to have to put up some points against the Buffalo Bills. So,
and going back to the offense too, and you mentioned something right now that made me think about this, is that Jimmy G is not 100% comfortable in this offense. He's not 100% comfortable with the players that's on the team. Like, he's not. You could tell, like, automatically, and Ray called it too. Jacoby Myers is the guy that he has the most chemistry with. Then you might say, don't go out like, "Hey man, you heard it. It's on record." Yep, yeah. Hey, it's on record. But yeah, Jacoby Myers is the guy that he has the most chemistry with. Devontae Adams, I think that's a work in progress, and we're gonna see why it's a work in progress. Like in a little bit, we're gonna look at the film. And yeah, man, I think guys like Michael Mayer. I thought, maybe Michael Mayer could be a guy that but he missed a lot of training camp and he missed a lot of time, and maybe that's something that that's probably gonna get better over time.
Michael Mayer, for me, man, just to pause right there real quick. What I hope that they don't do with Michael Mayer is hinder what it is that he does well. Like, the guy is a big body, vertical, uses his body to just big body defenders, and I want to see him do that in this offense, and then slowly like incorporate his run blocking as opposed to, and like I said, last game was scheme specific. They wanted those guys up front to get up there and get nasty in the blocking, and they're trying to develop Michael Mayer in that aspect. But man, this Buffalo game, this is going to be one of those games where I finally think that we get to see his receiving ability, which I think is going to be huge, because Michael Mayer has so much. I'm telling you, when he gets in a rhythm and he gets going in this offense, he's going to be a huge piece. And coming out of Notre Dame, I really, really hope that they don't shy away from his skill set and just put him in a situation where he can thrive.
Yeah, no, I like I said, I called him out as an X factor last Sunday. I'm like, all right, Jimmy G, he has a history with tight ends, but at the end of the day, it looks like right now the offense is working out their kinks, and it's not far. It's not far. It's just more of a comfortability type thing, and I think it's just over time as the season goes along. And then I'm not saying that players haven't figured it out. Like, Jimmy G just came to this team. I understand he's comfortable with Josh McDaniels. He's played in this offense before, but he's played in Kyle Shanahan's offense the past few years. So, and the thing is, when a new player comes to a new team, he needs to get used to the players. There could be a trust factor thing, that like we're gonna take do you want to pull up the game film?
Yeah, let's do it. You guys, we're gonna be introducing a new segment. We've got all 22 access, so there's just a few plays that I kind of want to walk us through here when it comes to Jimmy G, his ability to read the field, and we're going to kind of answer some of these Hunter Renfrow questions too, because on the final play of the final drive, there's something pretty obvious. So I wouldn't worry about the Hunter Renfrow situation, but you want to start with let's go ahead and start early off in the game with the flea flicker.
Okay.
38-18.
Yeah. Yep. Hold on 1 second. Let me just set it up real quick.
And chat, man, Daniel Kim, Raiden O'Connell. I love it. I love it. Jimmy Dunn said it. He's not used to having a receiver that gets open like Devontae. Wait till that chemistry develops. Yeah. Look, dude, it's time on task. These guys have to put in the minutes together in live action. So we're going to show you. We're going to show you. There's a lot of things to be optimistic about. Once everybody's on the same page, this offense is going to be a Ferrari. Yeah, especially with the play calling of Josh McDaniels. I don't think we necessarily got to see that a lot last year, but I think this year you're going to start seeing an offensive mind shine. Look, he really did a great job of scheming guys open on Sunday against the Denver Broncos, despite them having a very good secondary. So, and I'm not trying to sit here and, praise Josh McDaniels like he's the greatest thing, but I will say this, the guy can call one heck of a game and he knows how to get guys open. So it's going to be interesting.
All right. So I'm about to share it right now. Let me get
and make sure you guys, man, Hit the like button.
Let me get the drum roll, please. All right, I'm just sharing it right now.
All right, here we go.
You see it?
Yep.
All right, so this is the flea flicker. Do we know we have the moment in the game that this happened? This is somewhere in the second half, I believe.
Yeah. So to give you guys a little bit of context here, what we're going to be looking at here is a play breakdown, and it's going to be a flea flicker, right? And at the top of your screen, you see Devontae Adams lined up against Patrick Surtain. And what Jimmy Garoppolo is going to do is he's going to eye down Devontae Adams. Now, what I would like to
Man, I knew. Man, did we lose you? No, it's the audio. The audio.
No, I'm here. I'm here. You hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So I don't know where you guys missed me, but Devontae Adams is on the top of your screen. This is going to be a flea flicker. And this is what I want to see out of Jimmy Garoppolo. I want to see him go through these reads. And this was a theme throughout the game. This is why I'm saying be patient in this offense, okay? Because over time, these plays are going to hit. And I want to give you guys some encouragement as to why that is. So if you want to hit play on here, Pharaoh, we're going to see them run a flea flicker here. And I'll kind of walk you through this play. So boom, Jimmy Garoppolo, Josh Jacobs hits it back. I want you to pause right here. If you guys notice, if you look at Jimmy Garoppolo, he's eyeing down Devontae Adams, okay? Right now, the defensive back is showing his back. Jimmy sees the numbers on this defensive back and says, okay, I have one-on-one coverage. When you guys look down the field at the safety, look at the distance between Devontae Adams and the deep safety. There's a huge gap. So this is telling Jimmy Garoppolo, I've got one-on-one coverage with Devontae Adams, which, look, I don't blame him, right? When you get one-on-one coverage with Devontae Adams, you're going to take that shot. So Jimmy Garoppolo is going to try to back shoulder this, but with this frame paused right here, I want you to see the crossing route of Jakobi Meyers. Jakobi Meyers is taking his corner across the field, which is going to open up DeAndre Carter coming right across the middle. Jimmy Garoppolo, if you look at the pocket, beautiful pass protection. He has nobody within a country mile from him. Okay, so if we let this play, if Jimmy Garoppolo can just go through his read right here, he lets that ball go early, still clean pocket. Look at DeAndre Carter, wide open in the middle of the field. This is what I'm saying. Give this offense some time. Give him a little bit of development as far as going through his reads and not eyeing down one receiver. And that's a huge play. That's a home run play right there.
To me, I think it was just that his eyes lit up when he seen one-on-one with Devontae Adams. Like probably most of the game, a lot of the coverage was probably, leaning towards Devontae Adams. So he just felt like, oh my God, one-on-one. He's seen the safety far off. Like he felt like it was a great opportunity, but he just
what made him throw that?
It's like he made that decision before even looking at.
Well, the reason why, just to give everybody an insight, is because of all these defensive backs that are out here on the field right now. The one person that you see the back of the jersey is on Devontae Adams. That tells Jimmy Garoppolo, this defensive back can't see the football. My receiver knows that the ball's coming. Mm-hmm. That's going to be a bang-bang play. Right. So he thinks. But, having time in this offense, and I guarantee you Josh McDaniels has sat him down. I bet you Jimmy Garoppolo is kicking himself in the rear end by looking at this play, because this is an easy walk-in touchdown if he would have just hang on for 1 second. So
yeah,
this is just the first play, you guys. We've got a total of 3 plays. So overall, you guys, look, we missed on this one, but why I'm optimistic is 1, it's a beautifully schemed play. 2, it shows that we're going to be able to hit these later on in the season.
Mm-hmm.
And 3, let's just get Jimmy Garoppolo to go through his reads, and we're going to be just okay.
And this is part of what I was saying earlier. They're working out the kinks because, like I said, Jimmy G's still trying to figure out his new teammates, and one of his new teammates is Devontae Adams. He's never played with a player like Devontae Adams. He's a true number 1 receiver, and like when to throw it to him, when not to throw it to him, because he's probably he knows Devontae's probably gonna talk to him like, "Hey man, like that was one-on-one. You should," but I think he just made this decision based off him being one-on-one. I don't think he really looked at because if you would have seen this, how do you How do you throw it here and you see this?
That's the thing that I was noticing him in this game is at times he did a really good job at standing in the pocket and just going through his reads. You see his feet shuffle, you know what I mean? You see him flip his hips going through reads 1 through 2 to 3 and then getting the ball out quick.
Right.
But then there was plays like this, and this popped up a few times this game where he would just lock onto somebody and not get off of that read.
Yeah.
And that's a problem.
So I'm gonna let it play out right here.
And we're gonna let you guys see the back half of this. I mean, pause this. Look at this protection, you guys. As far as a pass pro, look at Michael Mayer get in there on the edge. That's a solid block. Look, this is as good as it can get. This is as clean as a pocket as Jimmy Garoppolo is going to get. Man, he just got to go through his reads, man. You can't feel pressured into throwing this pass this quick.
You see that right there.
I mean, look at that. By the time he releases, DeAndre Carter is releasing across the middle of the field. This one's hard to watch. It's a little bit frustrating, but it's okay, man. They're going to get this cleaned up. We're observing film based off of a win, and we're going to take that. But look, we're always going to nitpick because I want this team to be great. So these are things that separate good teams from great teams.
And to be honest with you, like, I don't think anybody's going to be mad. Obviously this guy is wide open, but for the most part, if you're throwing to Devontae Adams one-on-one, that's like a big play waiting to happen. So
I wouldn't have been as mad if it would have hit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The fact that you went one-on-one, it was an incomplete, and you missed a wide open touchdown. Like, we can't have this when the game is on the line in the fourth quarter. Because let's be honest, say this was 3rd down or 4th down in the fourth quarter, and we're going on a drive to win, and boom, you dialed up the play for the win. DeAndre Carter sitting here wide open in the middle of the field, no safety.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. So it's a good learning lesson for sure for Jimmy.
Okay, so let's go to the Jimmy G interception. Let's go there.
Okay.
Let's go there. Let's see. That was, I believe.
And if you guys are liking what you guys are seeing, man, make sure that you hit the thumbs up. And if you guys would like more film breakdowns of the all 22 post games, let us know. Let us know down in the comment section if this is a segment that you guys would like incorporated into the show.
Let's see here. All right. I think, yeah. All right.
So here's a formation here. Obviously, you see Christian Wilkerson on the outside. We've got Devontae Adams lining up inside the slot.
No Hunter Renfrow.
No Hunter Renfrow. Who is okay, that's Austin Hooper on the far left. Okay. All right, and we got Amir Abdullah in the backfield. So let's just hit play on this. Let's kind of see how this play winds out, and then we'll kind of talk about it. First and foremost, the protection again. When we're paused right here. The protection is beautiful. Right here, you've got to check down at Amir Abdullah. If this ball gets out hot and quick, you have an opportunity to make a guy miss. Jacoby Myers is obviously crossing the middle, but he's walking into coverage. Let's kind of play this out and see how this goes.
Yeah, that's another thing too. We really didn't talk about too much. The O-line, man, they took another step, man.
So as far as pass protection, they rank 2nd in the league this game.
And this is a D-line that's not. It's no joke. It's not like it's one of the worst in the league. They're pretty solid. They're gonna have a good test against the Bills. I'll tell you that. But I'm gonna let it play right now.
Yep. So right here we see Devontae get a release and he's throwing his hands up. Now, I know everybody is saying, "Hey, Devontae's throwing his hands up. Throw this." If we let this play out just a little bit, I want to show you guys what these defensive backs are actually doing here in this situation. Okay, so right here, Devontae is split between 2 defenders, right? You see the defender to the right of Devontae Adams, who's bailing towards the back of the pylon. Devontae, that guy is going to bail, and Devontae has his hands in the air. But when you look at the defensive back that's right next to Devontae Adams, he is anticipating that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to fire this in there to Devontae, which could have been a jumped route, 100%. I mean, if Jimmy G makes this throw, he is going to have to absolutely rifle it. And not only that, he might have to have Devontae Adams come up into the end zone if they wanted to actually hit on that.
That too,
So
but look where he's looking though. He's not even looking that way. He's looking.
again, this is one of those staring them down, right?
Yeah.
So I know everybody was saying, hey, Jimmy G's got to go to Devontae Adams in this situation. I think you might have had the same result had he thrown this ball to Devontae. There's a high probability that this would have been a pick.
Because he's looking in this direction, and this DB is like reacting to that.
If I'm being honest, in my read, Jacoby Myers in the back end zone, where the defensive back's numbers is facing Jimmy Garoppolo, so all the way in the back, right above the R in the end zone. If you look at the defensive back, his numbers are to Jimmy Garoppolo, another thing that he's looking for. Maybe on this read is where I would have gone back pylon to Jacoby Myers on a touch throw. That's just me. Out of all the situations on this, we can hit play and kind of see how this plays out.
It's just this defender. I just don't like this defender right here. I don't like how he's right there.
But notice how his face is in the numbers of Amir Abdullah. Hit play and we'll see how this plays out. Bet numbers are to him. If that ball would have already been out, going to back pylon to Jacoby Myers, I think that you could have had a little toe drag swag moment there where he fits that right into the bucket in the back of the end zone.
But he forced it to Amir Abdullah.
But he forces it.
To Amir Abdullah, like, what the hell? Like, at least throw it up to a bigger receiver. Like,
yeah. So overall, man, turnover in the red zone, that's not something that we want to see. I think a lot of people, and maybe we'll get more of a visual here on this side to see if he can click angle. Boom, pause.
Oof.
I mean, he could rifle that if Jacoby sits down on that. Like if he just sits down right there and he rifles that in there, that's a touchdown.
I think he was thinking about it too.
Yeah.
Boom.
I just don't think he wanted jumped right there by Singleton. Yeah, see that break?
Yeah.
So boom, he goes to his next read. Next read, obviously in the offense, looks like it's Amir Abdullah. He swims out. See that back pylon? That back pylon throw to me, man, right there. Look at the space that he has on that sideline.
Yeah.
That's just me, though. You know, who knows? Who knows?
I just didn't think, like, well, how would you throw it to a running back?
No, back. I mean, Jacoby Myers, man, could have had 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I think he back pylon throws that on a touch pass, and I think you're talking about.
Was he trying to throw it to?
No, that was to Abdullah. Like I said, he's seen the back of the numbers, but then the linebacker, I believe it's a linebacker on Abdullah, did a good job of turning around. I think he's seen Abdullah turn his eyes around. And so he made a good adjustment on the football, man. Got a hand on it, bounced it up in the air, did what he had to do, and got a pick. I mean, that's good defense.
Look at Devontae right there. He's like, come on, man. Look at me. You see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, did we have the other? I'm not sure if we had the other one.
The other one is on the final play. If we could just pull up the final play.
I'm gonna have to search for that one. Let me see.
I'm gonna and I'll address the chat while you find it real quick, so I can talk to them. Okay. SVT says beautiful. If we're seeing this and talking about it, you know that the team at McDaniels went over this exact play and talked about it 100%, Anthony, which is pleasing because I think that Jimmy Garoppolo, this is where we're going to see his progression in this offense. We're going to see, look, you can make a mistake. You can put things out on film. How do we adapt to that next week? How do we go into Buffalo and hit on some of these plays? I'm not asking for a perfect game, but I want to see him hit on a few of these. OG says, oh, this must be when I ask if we want to do more film. Please do. Daniel Kim says, yes, sir. Film study is always key to forming great ones, opinions, and insight. Okay, yeah. That's how we feel. It's nice that we have access to all 22. So yeah, we'll be bringing these type of segments with things that we see. I also want to do this defensively. If we had more time, I would have pulled up Divine Diablo and Trayvon Merrick because I think Divine Diablo. Well, I'll save that. I'll save that for our next segment.
Oh yeah, one of my favorite defensive plays of the game was Divine Diablo at goal line, diving, reacting to that pass by Russell Wilson. I thought he had a underrated game last game. He was also making tackles. He looked solid in coverage. He gave up 0 yards in coverage.
I'm not gonna lie. I think that is up there with the best performances that he's ever had as a Raider.
Okay.
I think his ability to come downhill. I think we finally seen him show up in the pass game. I think no, and I don't mean that in a rude way. I mean, I really not. I'm not taking a shot at him. I'm being honest. I think he looked like the guy that we've been talking about. He
Yeah.
came downhill. He was disciplined in his assignments. I mean, he would have had a fumble recovery. They called him on a face mask.
Mhm.
The pass breakup. I mean, Divine Diablo was flying around on the field. So I thought Divine Diablo had arguably probably one of his best games as a Raider.
Yeah. No, he was definitely I think you could Nate Hobbs played well. You had
Nate Hobbs
Javon
played
Diablo.
great.
I like a lot of people might have looked down on Jacorian Bennett because of some of the penalties. I thought the penalties were ticky-tack calls, in my opinion. I think the referees just looked at him as a rookie and they just probably were like, you know what? He probably grabbed. He probably
I don't think his performance was bad.
I don't think it was at
Yeah, it
all.
didn't feel like DJ Hayden out there.
Nah, not at
You know
all.
what I mean? Like Jacorian, the game wasn't too big. The moment wasn't too big. He had a good PBU on Cortland Sutton early in the game that they ended up calling a holding on him, but really he had his hand in it was a ticky-tack call, like you said. Had
Right.
his hand kind of in the back pocket and got the other arm over, which depending on the refs and depending like if that was a Sunday night football game, I don't think they call that. I think they
And
let him play.
I don't hey, this might be a sign of how much they like him as a player, man. He played 100% of the snaps. Rookie.
I mean, look, we talked about like his tackling deficiencies coming out of college of like him not being a sound tackler. Bro,
I
he
didn't
was
see it.
getting his head in there.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
Like,
Tackling looks like a strength, to be honest with
yeah,
you.
like, hey, Jacorian Bennett is gonna be a player.
Yeah,
I
for sure.
really think so.
Yeah, no doubt.
SVT says Hooper had a good catch. Hooper had a great catch. That was way better than what we've seen in preseason.
Yeah, he had a good catch, but it kinda looked like he almost let it
It
go,
hit the
like,
ground.
hit the ground, but
Yeah.
the way he caught it, he used the ground to, like, I don't know, it was close, and I was like the whole time, I'm like, "Hey, hurry up, get to the
Get to the
line."
line. Get to the line.
Oh, but they never really challenged it, but I
And
got the play, I think, up here if you wanna take a look at it real quick. Is it this one right here?
no, I don't think so because I don't see Renfro on the field. It's the final play where he slides on third down.
No, this is
I don't think this is it.
this is not it. Oh, it looks like it. Oh, yeah, oh, okay. This is like the 2-yard gain he had.
Yeah.
Running.
Anthony Provencio says McDaniels is saving some plays for Renfro. Hey, we're gonna get into it real quick because what we were kind of saying here earlier about going through reads and progressions. Now, look, the game was on the line. I think that he wanted to just get the first down and kind of ice the game and let the clock run and maybe not take a risk. But right here, I think this is the play.
Yeah.
So I want you guys to notice this.
So you got Devontae right there, Wilkerson in the game. Wilkerson played some snaps.
Yeah, and like I said, I
Well,
think it has to do with
played
personnel.
no, yeah, and honestly, he played the same amount of snaps that that Renfro played. That's great, 13 each.
Well, I think that Renfro got a lot of third down reps and a lot
Mhm.
of the running reps Christian Wilkerson got. So, I
Okay.
mean, let's be honest. Do you want Renfro out there as a run defender with a big corner on the outside? I mean, come on.
No,
Or to steal
I
an
get
edge, you know what I mean? Like,
I get it, but it's just, man, you would think Renfro would get at least one more than 0 targets. You know what I mean? He didn't even have a target in the game, which I thought was interesting. But it is what it is. But I'm gonna go let this play out real
yeah,
quick. Hold on a second. All right, so you got Hooper in motion.
identifying the mic. Hooper goes in motion.
Hey, and another part of this play right here, and I'm gonna let it play, is Josh
That
Jacobs.
blitz pickup.
He has his all around game right now. I think he's playing the best football of his career right
Well,
now.
one right off the bat, you've got Austin Hooper in the flat with nobody around.
Yeah.
So there's that, but that's not even why what we're going to be focusing on right now. Go ahead and hit play. Let this play run. So look, corner bails off of Renfro. Now let this kind of roll out a little bit. Look at Hunter Renfro, you guys. Look at Hunter Renfro.
And he had time.
And Jimmy has time. He's got to see. I mean, it does not get more open in the NFL. You throw that out toward the 10.
Yeah.
And Renfro is walking into the end zone.
But you know what? Look, like I said, I think this is a matter of just chemistry as well. Like, I think he's just comfortable with certain players right now.
No, and look, I get it. Look at the running lane that Josh Jacobs opened up. But what I'm saying is everybody that's freaking about Hunter Renfrow, this is on film. Like, they have this on film. Boom. Look at him in the back of hit play and even let this run. The ball's still in his hand. I mean, I guarantee you he creates more separation. I mean, look at that. Look at that.
Yeah.
That you don't get more open than that.
Yeah.
So Hunter Renfrow still has the ability to get open. They're going to scheme him open. Everything's going to be okay as far as Hunter Renfrow is concerned.
But I ain't mad at it, man. He did enough to win.
He
I
did,
like
yeah.
you could tell like that he's won over that locker room already. Like the way the players are talking about him, like they're calling him a dog. You know, you got Josh Jacobs, man, he's a dog. Max Crosby calling him a dog. Like they like Jimmy G, man. They like the fact that he's over here scrambling and throwing his body and getting tackled, and everybody knows that he has an ankle issue. Everybody knows that people call him injury prone, but he's still throwing his body around. So
The problem that concerns me, man, is like these guys even have their hands up. You know what I mean? And the ball is still in his hand. Like, he's got to see this stuff. It's a week 1. It's early, you guys. So this should give us confidence. But man, this only gives me confidence if Jimmy Garoppolo can develop his ability to see the field. If he can't grow in seeing the field, then this might be an issue.
or it's just that's why he's probably a solid QB and not an elite QB. You know, it
There's
could be
that
that
too.
too as well. Because I've never been. I'll be honest. I was one of those guys when Jimmy G got signed. I wasn't like overly excited. I was like, he wasn't a bad quarterback, but at the same time, I thought he looked really good out there too at times. So
Yeah. And look at we showed you guys 3 plays, right? That were literally touchdowns. So he finished the game with 2 touchdowns and 1 pick. Had he thrown that touchdown to Jacoby Myers in the back of the pylon, and a play that we didn't even show you guys, Jacoby Myers drops a touchdown. He splits 2 defenders. It hits off the hand of Jacoby Myers. Jacoby Myers drops the ball. Like,
yeah,
you're talking about Jacoby could have had 4 touchdowns this game. Hunter Renfrow had a walk-off touchdown back here in the back of the end zone. DeAndre Carter had a touchdown crossing the middle of the field. Like, man, you're talking about Jimmy could have had a day.
yeah. But hey, we got the W. It wasn't perfect. It was definitely ugly. But hey, a win. Someone left a comment. A win is always pretty, man. A win is always pretty. So at the end of the day, man, the Raiders got the W. That's all that matters. Man, we've been excited to talk football, man. We got more stuff to talk about.
I know, man. We get through film study. We're an hour in.
Yeah.
All right, man. Let's just hop into it then. Let's go stock up, stock down real quick.
Oh man, it's that time, man. Stock up, stock down, man. It's that time, man. We got to talk about the players that caught our eye as far as players that stepped up. They're trending in the right direction, and then players that are trending in the wrong direction. And you guys might have an idea about it. We're going to talk about it, but let's get into it, man. Ray, who do you got, man, as your guy in stock up?
I'm gonna go. Man, I've got a 3-way tie, and it's really with the 3rd-year players, man. Like Divine Diablo, Trayvon Merrick, and Nate Hobbs. I thought all 3 of them, man. They all stepped up.
Yeah.
Say what you want about Trayvon and coverage. That 3rd down, that was a huge play. That's another play last year. They probably don't make that play in open field.
Yeah.
That tight end probably stiffs arms him and gets a first down. And to come up with that play with the cast on his hand, bro, that was huge. Divine Diablo coming downhill, beautiful pass breakup. Like, Divine looked like the guy that he was supposed to look like. But
yeah,
who do you got?
So you have Divine Diablo. These are guys that I also have as trending in the right direction and stock up. Nate Hobbs. I didn't put Jacorian Bennett in there because I thought he was still a rookie out there, but at the same time, like, I was impressed. I like Jacorian Bennett is proving me wrong or proving me right. Aiden O'Connell proved me wrong because I said Aiden O'Connell was a terrible draft pick. But yeah, man, Jacorian Bennett looked good out there. For me, I'm gonna state the obvious. Jacoby Myers, man. Jacoby Myers, man. He looks like a player in this offense. He already has chemistry with Jimmy G. Hopefully he comes back, man. That was a brutal hit that he took. And man, it was crazy to see, but hopefully he'll come back healthy. I think he's in concussion protocol. So I'm not sure if he's going to come back this game. Hey, I wouldn't be mad if he missed this game.
Yeah, I'm not going to be mad.
Yeah, because that was a
That was
tough
my
hit.
breakout player last week. That was the one I circled as like, hey, I think Jacoby Myers is gonna have the breakout game.
Mhm.
It was nice to see that, but that hit, like,
Yeah.
bro, that hit was just
Yeah. Yeah, Jacoby Myers, 9 receptions, 81 yards, 2 touchdowns. Probably coulda had another touchdown. I mean, who knows? But Jimmy G was my other guy as well. I thought even though there were some plays that he left out there, overall, man, hey, he won the game. He won the game. He rallied the troops. He showed a lot of mental toughness. He went 4 for 5 for 60 yards in the game-winning touchdown drive. He did have that ugly third quarter interception. I did not like that at all. You never want to have turnovers in the red zone. And if you remember, before that interception, it was a fumble snap. So it was sloppy. It was
yeah.
a sloppy game, man, offensively. But that being said, I didn't really notice it as much, but when watching him play, like he's probably one of the most accurate QBs in the NFL right now. Like he
Mhm.
was 20 for 26, 76.9% completion rate. And the reason why I say that, if he's been consistently accurate throughout his career, but to see it up close and personal, like this guy, like he's pretty accurate. I know why you kind of brought up that Rich Gannon comparison, because you're just trying to see like, okay, there might be a little bit of a similarity. But yeah, Jimmy G, you mentioned some of the players on defense, and then I guess this is a guy that's probably going to be on the stock up every week is Max Crosby, man.
And shout
Max
out to G Patriot, not to cut you off. Shout out to
Yeah.
G Patriot for the super chat, man. Donations go a long way. Hey, every penny that you guys are end up donating, that's gonna go towards me being able to get a ticket, so me and Farrell can get to a game and give you guys content together.
Yeah,
We
man.
finally linked up. So from here on out, man, every super chat that we get here on this channel, on my channel, that is going straight towards the ability to end up getting out in Vegas this year to give you guys content, because those
No doubt.
tickets are not cheap. So Jacoby already got 3 touchdowns for us, 2 catches, and that pass to Chandler. Hey, he did too. That pass to Chandler Jones last year.
Oh,
Got us 3
yeah,
touchdowns.
man. Hey, shout out to Jacoby, man.
Jacoby's just getting us wins left and right.
Hey, man, he's a true Raider.
He's a true
Hey,
Raider.
man, just win, baby. To the point where he got his wins when he was with the Patriots and now with the Raiders. But yeah, man, I pretty much stated the obvious. Jimmy G, Jacoby Myers. You mentioned some of the key defenders last game, and I gotta mention Max Crosby. Max Crosby he's the guy that kind of got everything under control defensively. Once you start seeing him impacted, you start seeing everything come together. But yeah, man, let's get into stock down, man. Let's get into stock down.
Perfect.
And who do you got as someone that's trending in the wrong direction?
For me, this is just personal. This is me just not happy with this unit as a whole. I'm going the whole defensive line outside of Max Crosby. I mean, Max Crosby is who he is. You know, he's a superstar player. Tyree, you got to stop thinking so much out there, man. Like, I don't know if it's conditioning. I don't know what the case was last week, but that's got to get cleaned up quick and in a hurry, especially going against the Buffalo Bills. Malcolm Kuntz, I like him a lot, but I want a little bit. He was getting pressure. You know what I mean? I just want to see him get home. We need somebody to emerge. But really the big issue, Farrell, is the interior defensive line. We're still not getting the penetration that we need. You know, the Jerry Tillery sack came off of a coverage sack of Marcus Peters. And to be honest, like, the Raiders might have to seriously consider making a move. Like, you might have to give up some capital to go out and get a surefire thing.
You think we can trade for Jalen Carter?
Oh, stop it. We had a chance to get Jalen Carter without giving up anything.
Man, oh man, hopefully, yeah, man. It's
But
tough.
somebody, man, like one of these teams, like before the trade deadline, and say that they're just wholesaling everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have to take a look, because if the Raiders take what they displayed against the Broncos into all these other games for the rest of the year, like we're gonna be hurting bad. So
Right.
it might even be worse than last year, to be honest with you. And who knows about the Chandler Jones situation?
Mm-hmm.
Like, is he even gonna ever take a snap as a Raider again?
Yeah, I
Like,
don't think so. I think he's done. I think he's done.
no more Raider.
He's a marked man. He's a marked man at the end of the day. Like he put everybody on blast. He put Josh McDaniels on blast. He put
I think
the
he
owner.
lost the trust of the organization.
Yeah, he put the owner. I mean, if that's really a real text message with Mark Davis, I think that was the last like Chandler Jones social media post that I seen where he posted it looked like a text message with Mark Davis. Like every level, you got Mark Davis, you got Josh McDaniels. It's I don't think he's coming back, man. He's done. And the way they're talking about it, they're trying to like, brush it under the rug. They're trying to like sweep it under the rug. I think they're just gonna try to figure out a way to get rid of him somehow, some way. But I think he's done. I don't think he's coming back, man. I don't think he's coming back. But yeah, going back to what you're talking about. I mean, the D line, man, Tyree Wilson. Let's get straight to it, man. Tyree Wilson, I think every football fan that was watching the game could see that Tyree Wilson was literally sleeping out there. It felt like when he called hike, and I wish we could play it, but it was like last minute. But Baldy had a funny breakdown, or it wasn't funny, but it was real. Like he was really breaking down Tyree Wilson's get off, and a lot of it was just like he wasn't recognizing when the ball was getting hiked. It's almost like he was like he wasn't paying attention. Like he wasn't moving at all. Literally, Max Crosby is literally one step away from the quarterback, and Tyree Wilson is back there just chilling. So I think he needs to get better. Right now, it doesn't look good. I don't think the plan was to have him play out there. I think the plan was to have Chandler Jones and ease him into the lineup. But I think Tyree Wilson will get better. But right now, I'm gonna put him down in the stock down. And he played 50% of the snaps. And
Which
you
is
got
crazy because I
Yeah.
I don't even remember his name being called once.
50% of the snaps. And if you look at Kuntz, a guy that everybody wants to see more of, and had some nice rushes, he played only 27% of the snaps. Played 17 snaps compared to what Tyree Wilson played. So they're gonna have to adjust that somehow, some way. You got to let the best players play, man.
I just hope he has the football mind. Like he's got all the tools. He was the biggest, the strongest, the fastest kid out on the field his whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's at the highest level where all those traits doesn't mean anything if you can't apply the football IQ side.
Right.
If you can't take the tidbits of how to use your hands, how to explode off the ball, all these things where he has one of the best in the league and Max Crosby right across from him. It's just it's so early, you guys, and he's nursing a foot injury that was extremely significant. He hasn't played football since November of last year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not going to be an immediate thing, but man, you would just hope to see a little bit of flash.
Yeah. I'm surprised you didn't talk about Trayvon Moehrig.
I did as a stock up.
Oh, you had Moehrig as stock up?
Yeah, I thought that the third down play that he had,
that was a good play.
That was a good play. And I think when you look in the first half, again, I'm not really gauging the first half, right? Marcus Epps let up a touchdown in the first half, but he finished the game strong. I'm really wanting to see an adjustment in the second half.
Yeah.
And what I seen was Trayvon Moehrig injured, club on his hand, which I don't know if he has a broken thumb or what that is. That's
he did leave the game. I'm not sure if he came back, but he did leave the game.
No, he came back, but he came back with like a cast on his hand.
Okay, so it was something to do with his thumb.
Yeah, so he came up with a cast on his hand, that big third down, and he got a clean open field tackle. And that's huge, and that's what you're asking. That's what he did well his rookie year, was cleaning up tackles. So I have him on stock up because I think all those year 3 players really took a big step this first game.
I don't know. Okay, well, I you know what? I'll let that
if you have him on a stock down, explain it. Go ahead.
No, because he did give up a couple of third downs, a couple of first downs. He gave up that touchdown. But it's kind of hard too sometimes to judge the secondary at times, because on one hand we're talking about the secondary, but on the other hand we're talking about how the D line is not getting any pressure outside of Max Crosby. And there were times throughout the game where like where was the pressure coming from? If it wasn't coming from Max Crosby, it wasn't coming anywhere. So and if that happens, then you're going to leave some of these players in like tough situations. So it's a little bit of we're going to start me and Ray. I think me and you, we're on the same page, bro. we're on the same page when it comes to the D line not getting enough pressure. I think this season, if defense takes any steps to getting better from the previous season, it has to be because of the D line. I mean, that's where your best players at. That's where you feel like everything needs to start from there in order for us to get better on defense. But I'm not sure. Man, you're over here talking about making a move. You know what I mean? And it's game one.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, unless somebody really like when you look at the names of the interior, Byron Young didn't look that great, but Law Nichols, I didn't hear his name at all. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And granted, there was a lot of holding going on that wasn't being called. So I will give that. But we can't look for the refs. Like, we're the Raiders. You know what I mean? Like, we're not going to get those calls that,
Nope.
the Chiefs or whoever it is going to get. So we've got to not let that be a reason. And when you look at Max Crosby and his production, I want to kind of lean into this just for a second. When you see a Max Crosby go out there and get 12 and a half sacks, that would be like Malcolm Kuntz getting about 15 to 16. And what I mean is every single game, the game plan is to slow down Max. So you have a tight end chipping. Once he gets through the tight end, he's got a right tackle in his face. Then he swims through a right tackle and he has a running back sitting there in his laps and he bulldozes a running back into the quarterback's lap. Like, Max is elite. He is the top of the class premier pass rusher. And when you have a guy who's taking on a tight end, a right tackle, and then a chip from the running back, when you're on the other side, Malcolm Kuntz, Tyree Wilson, even Jerry Tillery was lined up at defensive end. Man, somebody's got to make a play.
Mm-hmm.
You are in the best situation possible as an opposite end defensive end. You've got a superstar who takes max protection. Go out there and make plays. You have an opportunity to go out there and make a ton of money for yourself. Step up.
Yeah. And Severe, man, shout out to you. Hey, man. Hey, I give it to you. That was one of the first things he said when Tyree Wilson got drafted. I remember that too. He was talking about how he had a slow get off. But from what I was seeing, it wasn't just a slow get off as far as like athletically. It just felt like he was just playing slow. Like it just felt like everything was around him was moving faster. I'm not saying like the players around him were faster. I'm saying like it's almost like he was trying to figure things out. He was thinking more than just playing, if that makes any sense.
No, 100%.
But yeah, just one last guy to mention in the stock down, and it was literally because of this one play. And we mentioned it a little bit earlier. Linebacker Luke Masterson on 4th and 14. Linebacker, he had a roughing the kicker penalty, man. I'm not gonna lie. If y'all see me doing a live cast or a game cast on Sunday, man, I was like, man, this dude is trash. Get him off the field. We can't have players like this, man, because I hate penalties like that, especially when you just had a great defensive play. Jerry Tillery just sacked the quarterback. They're literally about to kick the ball back to us, and you're running into the kicker. You could easily just not run into him. Like, I don't understand how that happens. But, things happen. It was a sloppy game overall, but yeah, he was just for that play, man. That was a terrible play by Masterson. Hopefully he gets better though.
Yeah. Rick says, don't say that Chandler Jones lost trust in the coaches and the owner. They gave him $51 million contract. He needs to shut up and bust his butt. And Wilson has been playing football for years. Look, Rick, I would say I don't care about how much money they gave a guy. When you go online on social media and you're leaking private messages between the head coach, GM, and the owner,
yeah,
you lose trust in that front office because now they're afraid to even have any type of communication. Now they have to watch what they say because they don't know what's going to be put out there. So, yeah, I don't agree with this at all. Max Crosby's the biggest steal of the draft in the last decade. Facts. I mean, he's one of the best at his positions.
Yep.
But all right, man.
No doubt. So yeah, man. I mean, that wraps it up for me for the stock up, stock down, man. We're gonna be doing this weekly. So every time after a game, we're gonna be looking at every player that's trending in the right direction. And hey, man, sometimes players play bad as well, and they're trending in the wrong direction. So we're gonna talk about it. But that pretty much wraps it up. But yeah, man, let's get into man. Did you watch that Bills game? That Bills Jets game?
That game was exciting, but hey, one, it sucks to see obviously they lose Aaron Rodgers for the year.
Right.
Zach Wilson, they came out today and said this is Zach Wilson's team. They are calling around to other veterans, but hey,
Man, it's that whole Zach Wilson situation is kind of weird too, because
It is
like,
wild.
because I think was last year they talked about how he lost the locker room. Players, you could tell like players didn't want him on. Like they wanted the other backup to play instead of him.
Well, I don't know how long it's gonna last, just
Yeah,
based off of what I've seen. But
right.
I mean, what other chance do they got? This is the guy that was in training camp with them. This guy has the familiarity. Like they have no choice but to ride with Zach. So overall, man, extremely exciting game. It ended in spectacular fashion. Josh Allen
Mhm.
shows a little bit of a formula to go out there and compete against him. You know, he's
Yeah.
gonna. What I'm more concerned with though, Pharaoh, is like we're going to get a Bills team that is hungry, motivated, mad. Like we're gonna get the best of the Bills.
Mhm.
So the Raiders need to show up and they need to be ready to put up some points and play physically because it's gonna be a tough game.
Yeah, yeah, because a lot of people were like, "Oh, the Raiders are getting the Bills on a short week, and they just played overtime, so that's even more. They're gonna be sore." But look, they're coming back. This is gonna be their home opener. They're mad that they lost against the Jets, a missed opportunity. Like they're literally Aaron Rodgers goes down, and you're playing against Zach Wilson. Like there's no in their eyes, they felt like that should have been an easy win for them, and they end up losing the game. But yeah, that's man. Hey, that Jet squad is whew, they're pretty good, man. They're just missing a quarterback. It just man, they got bad luck, man. But that being said, yeah, the Bills, man, they're a talented team, man. There's no way around it.
Yeah.
Like I'm when I look at their roster, they pretty much have they pretty much have everything, man. From if you look at the defense, they got playmakers at every level: secondary, linebackers, D line led by Greg Rousseau, and Ed Oliver. Linebacker. I think Matt Milano. He was All
He's a
Pro last
stud.
year.
He's a stud.
Tre'Davious White at corner. Man, I can keep going, man. Their safeties are pretty good. So it's like the Raiders are gonna have to bring their A game. But there's a kink in the armor. And one of those kinks is pretty much they gave up over 170 yards rushing to the Jets. So I'm sure Josh McDaniels is looking at that and like, all right, Jacobs, are you hopefully you knock the rust out against Denver Broncos. Now it's time to bring out your A game now.
And hopefully the guys up front can create bigger lanes than what they did. You know what I mean? This is
Right.
another tough front. So the Raiders are gonna have to, if they want to win this game, man, you might honestly see similar formations to what you've seen last week. I think ball time, like time of possession this game, is gonna be huge. Like
Yeah.
we've got to keep Josh Allen on the sidelines, and when he's in the game, they're gonna try to spread us out thin. They've
Mhm.
got Stephon Diggs. They probably like that matchup on Marcus Peters. They've got Gabe Davis, and we're on our Saturday show. We're gonna get into specific matchups, so I don't want to get into all that yet, just
Mhm.
because I need to go and watch Buffalo again. But overall, man, like the Bills are gonna come after the Raiders, and what a statement game for the Raiders to go out there, and if they can punch Buffalo in the mouth, find a way to win, and if they do, I will get a Josh McDaniels visor and I will shave my mustache. But if they can go out here and make a statement game like this, these are the type of games that catapult your season into a different level. Like if the
Yeah.
Raiders can go out here week 2, put the Bills away, and now you're looking at the Sunday night football game against the Pittsburgh Steelers and you're sitting at 2-0
Yeah.
and your home opener, you're 2-0 primetime football, like the Raiders can take a step in a direction and they might build a confidence on this team that, hey, we can go out here and beat anybody on any given day.
Right. Hey, what's up with Josh Allen, man? Is he like the modern day Brett Favre, man? Like turnover machine?
Look, he threw
Like,
4. He threw 4
would you call him a
turnovers, right?
gunslinger? Is he like a would you and is he just a gunslinger, man? Like he's just gonna throw it up there and he doesn't care.
This is what scares me, bro. It's like he goes out here and does this, and then he's gonna play us and probably throw 5 touchdowns and not miss a beat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go 30 of 35 and 4 touchdowns and
Yeah. And one of the things I was concerned about the Raiders defense, watching that Denver game is that Russell Wilson was getting outside the pocket, whether it was a design play to get outside the pocket or he was just rolling out and getting outside the pocket. And now you're playing against a Josh Allen who likes to get outside the pocket and throw it. So this is it's a game where you got to be careful. And the Bills, like, they like to attack downfield. He wants to throw it deep. That's what Josh Allen wants
His
to do.
deep ball looked ugly on the one turnover.
Oh yeah. He was forcing it. He was forcing it. And it's kind of similar to it was kind of similar to you remember when Mahomes was struggling that one year, I guess, because the defenses were, they're catching up to that, the KC offense where pretty much they know that they wanted to throw it deep, and Mahomes like throwing it deep, and he was throwing a lot of interceptions, and he had to adjust. And part of that adjustment is you gotta hit the short pass sometimes. You gotta hit the middle, the intermediate part of the field. And I'm not sure if Josh Allen wants to do that because I just feel like he's been throwing interceptions since last season. I got to pull up the stat. I think Prez, if you're in the chat, I think you had a stat you sent me about Josh Allen, but man, he's been struggling with he's been a turnover machine since last season. I mean, he threw 3 picks last game. He had a fumble loss. It's gonna be tough, man. But I think the Raiders are gonna have some opportunities to, like, obviously, possibly get a turnover this game. But like you said, man, they're gonna be extra focused. It's a home opener and it's a 10 a.m. game, so it's an East Coast game for the Raiders.
Thankfully, the Raiders are in West Virginia right now.
Yeah. So they're prepared for that. But even so, that kind of it messes with you a little bit after a while. But I'm glad it wasn't a Bills game like in November, December.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
and it's early on in the year. If you catch them at a wrong time, this is a catch-22. Like,
right.
Everybody's hyping, and I like the position that the Raiders are in, right? Because this has been the theme of the entire offseason. Like, we're getting slept on. So it's like, oh, Raiders are going to get dominated because the Bills are mad. Like, the Raiders proved that they could win. The Bills didn't. So continue to throw pressure on the Bills. Continue to throw pressure on Josh Allen's back of, oh, well, yeah, you guys are mad and angry. Like, go put it on the Raiders. Well, what happens when the Raiders come out and hit you in the mouth and it's not a blowout game like you thought it was going to be? And it's another hard-fought physical football game. So,
yeah,
I don't know, man. I don't want to get too much into specific matchups just because we've got that Saturday show. You guys are going to be able to come and tune in, and we're going to hear game plans and what we think and players and offensively, defensively.
But even just looking at their offense, because we just talked about their defense being stacked, their offense is stacked. They got receivers, they got tight ends, they got that this year. I feel like they added a little bit more depth to that running back room. A guy that you was hoping that the Raiders could have kept was Damian Harris. Yep. He's one of their backup running backs. James Cook is a guy that looks like he might make a jump this year.
Latavius Murray, former Raider.
Yeah, he's one of their backup running backs. So it's a solid room back there. Their tight end room, Dawson Knox. And the guy that Dalton Kincaid, they got him in the first round.
Yep.
He's a talented, tight end, receiving tight end. So the Raiders linebackers coverage, they got their hands full this game. This is the game where, last game we don't know what to we can't really figure out this team against the Denver Broncos. It's still too early to tell, but against I'll say a Super Bowl contender. If you look at their roster wise, they have a Super Bowl contending roster. Like they can easily be a team that can be in the Super Bowl this year. Maybe you guys might have some other teams, but they pretty much have no weaknesses, to be honest with you.
No, yeah. And hey, man, I think it's a good spot to stop on, to be honest with you, just because we've got a lot to dive in. Raiders versus Bills on Saturday. Man. I want to save that for you guys because we've had a good show and we've talked about a lot of stuff. But man, if you guys are still here, man, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, both Real Raider Ray and Pharaoh NFL. We alternate every single week. And we are wrapping up a big announcement that is going to be coming.
Before we wrap up the show, man, we got in other news, the Chargers, man, they lost this weekend. So the Raiders are like pretty much leading the division right now, 1-0, and they lost 34-36. The defense gave up over 500 yards to the Dolphins.
Chargers being the Chargers. I love
Chargers being the Chargers, including 466 yards in the pass game. And that led to Brandon Staley calling out the defense, including J.C. Jackson. Does that name sound like familiar? That was a guy that was linked to the Raiders because he played for the Patriots. and Ziegler were just coming over, and a lot of people thought that J.C. Jackson was going to come to the Raiders. I guess he had a terrible game, and the coach kind of like, he's coming back from a tough injury, and he still called him out. He's called out the defense overall. But Brandon Staley, I think he's definitely on the hot seat.
Oh, for sure.
Oh my God! I
hope not. I hope they hold on to him for as long as possible
for the next 10 years, man.
Please,
for the next 10 years, man. But yeah, the Chargers, man, they got their own struggles. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles, man. Is he done?
Oh, he's done.
You don't think he's coming back?
Nah,
man. They said it's like a complete. I don't know the whole details. I heard something.
He's 40, bro. Imagine coming back at 40 years old to a complete tear.
Yeah, man.
Like, bro, that's tough. Like, that sucks. It sucks to go out that way,
but he's a competitor too, and I'm sure he's probably gonna be like, I can't go out like this. There's that side to it. But I get what you're saying. I mean, he really doesn't have anything to prove at the end of the day. Like, he's an MVP, Super Bowl winner. He's probably gonna go to the Hall of Fame. But yeah, man. Also, something to keep an eye on. All-Pro D tackle Cam Hayward is going to be missing the next several weeks with the groin injury. And I think that's something to keep an eye on, because at the end of the day, we play the Steelers. After we play the Bills, the Raiders' home openers against the Steelers. So that's going to be one less top defensive player that they're going to have to face. Two players.
Deontay Johnson.
Yep.
Wide receiver.
He's going to be missing a few weeks with a hamstring injury. So offense and defense gets a little bit of a break. Two players that the Steelers count on to make plays out there. They're not going to be a part of that Raiders Steelers game. So
depending on how this Buffalo game goes, we might need it.
Right. But yeah, man, that's all I wanted to bring up on another news, man. I just wanted to talk about some stuff. That's literally a segment where we could talk about other teams, other football teams, but then how they relate to the Raiders. And, I think the Raiders can possibly, if they can win this game, this is going to be a tough game, though. I'm not going to lie.
It's going to be real tough. We're going to get a real good gauge of where we're at.
Yeah.
Like, are we real or are we not real?
Yeah. And man, I hope hopefully we see a better performance than last game. They got away with it because we're playing the Denver Broncos. I don't think they're really that good of a team talent-wise, but this is a good gauge to really compare the Raiders team to a Super Bowl contending team. They're going to be playing at home. They're going to be fired up. They got talent everywhere. And hey, stay tuned for the next show. It's going to be on Saturday. We'll get into like matchups and players that we like that might have a good game, players to look out for. But yeah, we appreciate everybody coming through, man. We just want to talk football, man. It's been a great show. It's been a great show, man.
Hey, man. And everybody, on your guys' way out, man, make sure you guys smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. To Real Raider Ray and Pharaoh NFL, we alternate shows every single week. If you guys like the new format, you like the film breakdowns, that's going to be something that we're going to introduce if you guys want. I think it's a good segment, so moving forward, you could probably expect that for this season. Big announcement coming up. I know we've been teasing that, but we're working out the final kinks in it. And that should be probably, what you think, like next week?
Yeah, next week.
Yeah. Next week. All right. So next week we'll get that information dropped for you guys. Man, any closing statements before we get out of here?
Nah, man. Like Ray said, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, man. I'm sure a lot of people left some comments in the chat, man. We appreciate everybody leaving a comment in the chat. But if we couldn't get to it, obviously leave a comment in the comment section for this video. We look at every comment. We're gonna respond to it. So don't worry about it. We appreciate everybody coming through. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, go ahead and head over to Pharaoh NFL. We switch off every week. So you want to make sure you subscribe to both of our channels so you can catch us on both channels when we switch, man. We appreciate everybody coming through, man. It's been a great show. We brought something new today, man. We brought some new sound effects. We brought some film breakdown. Hey, this is a legendary show right now, man.
Yeah, film was where the avenue where I was really hoping to get into, because that's where, when I originally got into this, that's where I kind of made my own bread and butter, was to be able to sit back and just watch all 22.
Yeah, so. Look at Yaya says film was the best. Hey, we're gonna keep it coming. Hey, if the people want the film, we're gonna keep bringing the film breakdown for sure, no doubt.
Perfect. All right, man. Let's close them out with the only way to do it. We'll see you guys Saturday, man. Peace.